Hi, welcome back to the Gapster channel. I'm Gabby, and today I'm gonna showcase here a little tiny phono preamp, but also can be also a preamp as well. It's called the Ampapa by Duke Audio, and they also sell them, I think, under different brand names as well. It's a great little box that has, like I said, it's a phono input and a line input. So it's a preamplifier. This is not an amplifier, so you're still going to need an amplifier to hook to this thing. In my case here, I've got it hooked up to a vintage Dynaco ST70. And we have a Soren's TD166 vinyl record player. Unboxing the Ampapa preamplifier is pretty nice. This actually says it says designed by Ampapa in Washington, USA. Actually, you can see the difference. The packaging is different actually than the regular Duke Audio stuff. It's more like the Apple kind of packaging stuff. So there's spent quite a bit of money on the packaging. So you could see here the amp inside. This is the amplifier, and probably here some power supply and some little bit of literature, and oh, they even give you an RCA cable and a nice fancy little cloth. And in here there's a couple more packages for the tubes. So everything is packaged nicely, which is it's a nice gesture. So I'm going to pop these tubes in here. So the whole unit is not very big. As you can see, it's pretty small. It's nice, actually. It feels heavy. So we have the phono input, and we have a line input, and then basically RC out, and this is just power. On the front, we have 3 dials, and they're actually very nice. They have like little click, click, click on them, so they're actually nice and smooth. And here we have, you can select if you want the phono or line input, and this is just power, and this is just some fancy lights if you want to have some fancy lights. I'm not a big fan of the lights, but they're there. You can actually turn them off, so if you don't like them, you don't have to use them. So the unit has a couple of tubes, and these are Gen 5654. They are made in the US. I believe these are vintage tubes. There's quite a few of them. They are not expensive. They're quite inexpensive actually, but they are good tubes. Also, the unit has a headphone jack, which comes really handy for folks that like to listen to headphones. The unit has some nice LED lights. They could be switched. This is the orange version, and you can actually have the green version. And if you hate them both, it's pretty simple. You can just put in the middle, and there is no light at all. I'm a little bit not sure about the lights. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I hate them, but everybody's different. I think you might like them. Like I said, they're quite different. They look more intense during the night versus during the day. You don't notice them as much. The tubes are not just for show, they're actually functional. So they do actually help smooth the sound, and gives it that nice tubish sound. So it's like a hybrid of, it's not, if you're like looking for a pure tube, this is not the unit for you, but it's consider it more like as a hybrid between tubes and the solid state. All right, so I've got the Ampapa preamp here hooked up to a Soren's TD166. So it's a nice vintage turntable, and I got it hooked up. To be honest, I was skeptical about this little thing. Sometimes, unless you have like a nice big shiny box, you kind of tend to underestimate certain products. I have to say I'm pretty actually impressed by it. I did not expect it to sound this good. I'm not saying this is, high-end professional stuff, but it's actually quite close. I think it'll be ideal for someone that, wants a small system yet wanted to still sound good. When you see the pictures on their site, you get those very green and very strong lights. It's actually not that flashy in real life. And it's a good thing, because to be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan of those lights, but now that I see it here in my place, I'm actually liking it. And it's not like in your eyes. They're very subtle, and you can actually turn them off. I don't even know if you actually can see them on the camera. They're that subtle. So they're actually not so bad. You can also turn it into a green color if you like. I'm not a fan of the green for sure, but again, some people might like that. Having those things aside, I really like the tone control. I find that whenever you are on, you don't have $10,000 speakers here, so your speakers are going to be suffering in one area or another. Your room may not be ideal. Sometimes people use small things set up like this because they have a small room, so the room may not be ideal for your listening, and the tone controls come in really handy. And when I recall when I was young, I loved tone control. I used to play with them all the time. I loved it. I used to always crank the treble a little bit more bass. And it just gives you some happiness and satisfaction. And if you don't want to use them, you can put them on neutral. So it's good for everybody, but it's nice to have them, I find, at this level. So here's a close-up of it, and you could see the tone controls, bass, treble, and volume. And they have little clicks. They're actually very nice. They're not like wonky. They feel really good when you turn them around. So here's the volume and treble and bass and your tubes here. You've got your connection here. This thing takes a line input, so it's not just to use with turntables, and mind you, that might be the primary feature you would buy this unit, but you can also hook it up to another line. So say you have a DAC or maybe a CD player or whatever it is, so you can toggle, and you can toggle between line and phono on this switch here. So it's a little unit that could appeal to a lot of people that are trying to set up a system in a small setup that doesn't require huge boxes. The price of the Ampapa is around 140 US dollars, and often sometimes there's some coupons or some little discounts you can get if we can shave a little tiny bit of that. I'm trying on my channel to get different price points for things, some really inexpensive stuff and some very expensive stuff, trying to appeal to a variety of people. We're not all at the same level, and some people are just starting out. Some people have been at it for years. Some people have lots of money. Some people don't. So I'm trying to appeal to everybody, including especially doing some DIY. If you like my channel, consider subscribing. I'll put a link in this corner here for 10 songs that you might want to listen to that will really improve your system. After all, great songs are the best upgrade to your system. And below it, I'll put a link on my recent project here where I'm working on a DAC from a TDA 15418 chip. And it's kind of an interesting story for people who are interested into DIY. Take care, and I hope to see you again.